There cannot be the amount of cancer and carcinogens that we're seeing, and it be that. There's just no way. And I know you're going by study that has been put in front of you, but I'm sorry, lady, I ain't buying it.
I'm sorry, Mr. Flores, go ahead.
Okay, I live in the middle of it, I guess, in the side on 114. I'm the little yellow dot right in the middle of the contamination, and I asked for a filter because it's all around me. And I was turned down. I said, you guys told me you couldn't install a filter. And the whole thing was to be proactive about this. If I'm in the middle of it, I'm sooner or later going to get it. Why not just, be proactive about it. Install a filter. I mean, you can see where I'm at.
Yeah.
Well, as we explained, the 100 parts per billion is the MCL and is also our action level. That is when the state begins to take action.
So we're going to wait till I'm contaminated then?
Yes.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
what
Yeah, that's what we're great. So he's contaminated. Across the street.
He's a donut in the hole.
0 chromium 6. He has him.
Do
And
you
he's
drink
right
chromium?
in the middle.
Do you drink chromium?
You want to come to his house and drink lemonade? Shower and shower?
But he's a donut in the hole with he's selling them.
What I can tell you is the 100 parts per billion is also the action level that is used in public water systems across the United States. That public water systems across the United States are allowed to have water up to 100 parts per billion in their water.
So the answer is we're going to wait.
Yes, that is the action level that's going to be used.
Do you drink chromium?
I am not, if I drink city water, and I think it would be safe to say that if it was below 100 parts per billion, I wouldn't know.
Well, that's what you're supposed to say, so thank you.
All the yellow spots.
Can you come forward to the microphone so that we can hear you? And I believe this gentleman is in front of you.
We're still on.
I'm sorry, I didn't see this
But
one
we're
on the
still
side.
unloaded. We're still unloaded.
Those standards of 100 are 15 years old, and they're supposed to be updated within the next 2 years. Bring it way down because that's a 15-year-old study.
Go Mitch.
I'm going to let Ruby address
I actually believe that the standard, the last revision data the standard was in 2003. But yes, you are correct. They are reviewing it. We have spoken with the EPA office headquarters in Washington, D.C. They do not have any information that they can give us about whether they are going to take the standard down or if they're going to keep it the same. So I really can't speak to that, but yes, it is under review.
I just don't understand why we have to wait for mine to be contaminated. Why can't we be proactive and go ahead and install the filters? You know it's around me, you know it's there.
Well, he's right.
Well,
Instead you give them 5 gallons of water.
again, like what we went back to earlier about the 100 parts per billion, that level is set so that we have a mark to judge by. Anything over that or well over that, that's when we come in and bring the filters. I mean, I know what your situation is, and that's why we're going to continue sampling it. But you may never go above. You may never go above that level.
But why wait? Why wait for me to be able to?
That's why we're going to continue sampling your well. I mean, that's just what we have to
So
do.
Texas says we want to be proactive in all of those cases where there's a yellow dot. You do not want to be proactive and go ahead and give them a filter. Is that what you're saying?
Well, we're going to continue to monitor them.
They have it.
Yeah.
They have it.
Well, that's what we said tonight. We're going to
Monitor you to take care of these people, even if they're below.
All of them
That's
should be
not
taken care
right
of.
what you're doing.
So,
You can't have a clear conscience and just say we're going to.
so we're going to wait for mine to be contaminated.
We're above.
Above fluctuates.
Well, that's the current plan.
I was wondering if it fluctuated.
Thank you.
Bring that up.
Are there any
Help
others?
these people out.
It's going to cause more panic.
I'd like to know how many people in this room really know what a billion parts is or a million parts is. Can you explain to them what a billion parts is or a million parts is in language they can understand?
Sure.
My name's Brian King and I'm a well site geologist. I'd like to know why you're saying that this is contaminated, that's not contaminated, it won't be contaminated. You had a hydrologist working for you, a geologist working for you, that can tell us how this aquifer actually flows, which aquifer.
Yes, we do. Yeah, yes, we do.
Why don't you have them come talk to us? Instead of people that don't know what they're talking about. You got a young lady trying to tell us what chromium 6 does. Do you realize that if I took 80 pounds of chromium 6 powder, put it in this room, closed all the doors and windows, that within 48 hours, if none of you left, you would all be dead because they would absorb all the oxygen in this room. That's what chromium does. It does the same thing to water. It does the same thing to the water in your body. Okay? Now, tell me, if we're not contaminated, we are going to be. I don't care whether it's a half mile down the road or a half mile down the road.
Well, we don't know that. I mean, we really don't.
It's going to go through the aquifer in any way, shape, or form. You can't stop it. You can't clean it.
That's why we're trying to rope it in.
And
the only process we have.
finding out where it's at isn't going to cure the problem or help these people with their health or anything else. We're supposed to help you doing something now, not a year from now, 5 years from now. 5 years from now, it's going to be 3.5 miles down the road. It's kind of like driving a train from the caboose. The water we're getting right now doesn't come from anywhere within about 200 miles of here. And if you can prove me wrong, you prove me wrong. Okay? It's water that's in soil that's 135 million to 250 million years old. It was laid down back when the dinosaurs were here. Long before we ever came along. And it's going to be there a lot longer than we're going to be around. Give these people a break.
Well, that's why we're installing the filters.
And the thing about not causing cancer and all the rest of the problems, I'm Mrs. King's husband. I've got 5 dogs that all have cancer right now. You put a filter on my well, I can't use that water to water my dogs with?
We didn't say that.
Oh, you're saying limited to household use. What about the 30-some dogs I've got that are worth anywhere from $2,000 to $7,000 a piece because they're champions?
Well, that's
Do I let them die?
That's the kind of information we need to hear. You know, that may be something that we can deal with. But
The fish pond I just built, it cost me $3,000 and put $500 worth of fish in it. The other day I went out and they were all swimming on top doing the backstroke because there was so little oxygen left in it.
But, you know,
It's not that high, but don't worry about it.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
Yeah,
We're
it's
all
only
dead.
six- it's
Hey,
only
folks,
6
we're all
times
dead. The
higher
state's
than
gonna
what
come to our funeral and say, sorry, we're out of your hair.
You're safe.
Damn right.
Okay, over here, we have this gentleman, please go ahead.
My name is Joseph Bonkin. I live out on County Road 118. I'm not actually in the contamination area yet, but I would like to know what are the movement rates of this contamination? Which way is it going? This is kind of a follow-up to the other 2 questions that were just previously asked. How can we be proactive? Is there any kind of assistance that could be provided for us to install our own filters at, some kind of subsidy or something at our own, possibly at our own cost? I mean, it's good to tell us what's here, but tell us where it's going. Tell us how people are going to be affected, what you anticipate where the affected area is going to move. I don't think it's going to go away. It could potentially probably get worse.
So your question is, you want to know where the contamination may be moving, and you want to know if there's information on possible help with filtration systems?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
well, as far as the movement of the water goes, That's part of the investigation we do in the formal phase. In general out here, everybody knows the groundwater in general. It may be affected by something else, but in general it moves to the southeast. And now as far as your question about purchasing your own filtration system, we can put you in contact with suppliers of filtration systems like that can do that type of filtering, and we'll be happy to get you that kind of information. The other thing is you can reach out to people that are local too.
Are there any kind of assistance? I mean, obviously the folks, Tommy here, who's not reached the contaminated level yet, but is right in the area, is there any kind of assistance? I mean, you may not be able to actually put one in for him, but is there any kind of assistance for these folks like that who are probably going to become contaminated even though they're not right now?